Well, to something very entrepreneurial now, large-scale prawn farming in the top end. Listed company CO2 Group, whose main business has been carbon sequestration, is embarking on Project Sea Dragon. It's a brave move. Fish farming is not for fair weather players, as we've touched on before. But this week, CO2 secured options over all the land it says it needs and has potential investors and joint venture partners filing through its data room. Well, I spoke to CEO Andrew Grant a little earlier. Andrew Grant, it's great to talk to you.
Thank you, Tikki. Nice to have me. Thank you very much.
Now, look, this time last year, CO2 was a pure one-stop carbon solution shop, really. What does aquaculture have to do with carbon?
Well, for the 10 years that we've been operating, we've been a broad-based environmental services company, and so behind the scenes we've examined all sorts of ideas. And about 3 years ago we came across aquaculture, and a sister company, Western Australian Resources Limited, was looking at it very closely. CO2 had an interest in Western Australian Resources, and they progressed the idea a lot, and then last year a friendly takeover was proposed and supported by shareholders and was brought into the company. So since then we've gone really hard at the idea.
You've reached a milestone this week, really, with the option agreements on land for the venture. Now, what sort of land are we talking about? Because it could be up to 10,000 hectares, but not necessarily in one site?
Yes, we've looked at what we describe as A-grade sites, which are high temperature, high rainfall, flat landscapes, close to the ocean, but not high in environmental value, because we're very conscious of our social licence to operate, and also close to existing infrastructure like port facilities and power. So we did a scan of all of Northern Australia. We used CSIRO to give us some advice on what are the best quality aquaculture sites, and then we narrowed down our preferred sites, and we've been very successful in getting option agreements with landholders on our preferred sites.
Been up to kick the tires yourself?
No, I've had my staff up there doing due diligence, and they send me back photos of very large crocodiles, so I think I put them out on the frontier and I'll follow in behind.
Look, the key question, I guess, is that, I mean, this is either brave or foolhardy in a way when you think about two things: Australia lagging in aquaculture development, but also the business models that have been up in the top end, places like the Ord, that the failures have racked up there, haven't they?
Yeah, look, I think visionary would be a better description, and we don't benchmark ourselves against companies that have failed. We look at the opportunity in its intrinsic worth. Aquaculture is the fastest growing protein sector in the world. In the last 10 years there's been tremendous technological gains. Half of the world's seafood is now sourced from aquaculture. When we look at the general thematic that Australia has high quality food to be an exporter for the Asian century, this really is a significant investment opportunity. Yeah,
when we last looked at it, I mean, I was very surprised that we weren't doing more in aquaculture, but we found that the industry was sort of bemoaning about over-regulation, 3 years to get a permit, that sort of thing. Has that been your experience?
No, quite the opposite. I think our observations about the current industry in Australia is that aquaculture generally has struggled a bit in that it's been largely a research and development enterprise, and this is not research and development. This is a well-proven, mature technology at scale already in the world. Secondly, the industry, land-based aquaculture, is a largely cottage industry in very high environmentally sensitive sites on the east coast of Australia and domestically focused. This is the dead opposite. It's a tremendously large-scale, industrial-scale project which brings efficiencies. It's totally export-focused. It's better suited in terms of environmental approvals and government approvals. And it's in a region that Australia's targeted.
Well, you've got your data room open for due diligence for potential investors. What do investors think of this project? What have they been telling you?
Well, it's challenging. The feedback we've had from the market at large is this is what the industry really needs. It needs large-scale production, and the great feature that Australia offers internationally is biosecurity, animal health, environmental integrity and scale. We think the timing's perfect, and the feedback we've had from investors is they like it. It's brave, obviously. It's large, it's greenfields, but in terms of their critiquing what we've done, we've received very, very positive feedback.
Your project is called Project Sea Dragon, very Asian flavour. I'm just wondering if you're looking at an Asian joint venture partner.
We're certainly targeting China, although we've had excellent discussions with trading houses in Japan, and the US seafood market is a very, very big investment community and a very large market in its own right. So to date we've had feedback from China, Japan, Thailand and the US. So we want some competition in terms of selecting our preferred joint venture partner. The more competition, the better.
Given you're looking at a number of different sites, have you also got issues with traditional owners? Are you working with them too?
Yeah, well, I think it's critical that if you develop any project of this scale in Australia, you do it in such a way that it's supported by the community, the local community and the broader community. We hardwire that into the design of the project and our thinking. And we're absolutely confident the way we will design the project. And we have a great track record as a company at large of pioneering new industries in novel landscapes.
Well, you're talking about pioneering in new industries.
Yes.
I look at it and see you also spreading risk, and perhaps this says something about how you're feeling about the carbon market as a whole in Australia.
Look, I think it's really critical that we demonstrate growth for our shareholders and expansion. Whilst carbon is challenging at the moment, like all markets are, and I don't think there's anything to be fearful of. We've obviously got political uncertainty around policy settings, but there's a patience thing, and in the next 4 or 5 months where the market's spinning its wheels, but we expect that to quickly change once the political landscape is clear.
Andrew Grant, we look forward to following your big project with great interest. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Tikiti. My pleasure. Thank you very much.